Welcome back, everybody. We are on part 2. It's time for the hot tags of the week. Some of the rumors, stories, news, and anything else that we need to talk about that went down over the past couple days in the world of professional wrestling. One thing that we need to get right out of the way here, which I'm pretty sure we all don't have too much to say because what really is there to say about it, but Nick Bockwinkel passed away at the age of 80. I was never really somebody who knew all that much about Bockwinkel, but it's always sad to hear that another person from this organization passed away. So, I mean, from my perspective, I can't really talk about my favorite moments or anything else like that, but does anybody have anything that they want to mention as far as Nick Bockwinkel?
A little shitty that they couldn't give him a longer piece on Raw. The guy was a very important part of the AWA history, and pretty much if you know anything about it, the title was pretty much held by him and Vern Gagne. Everyone else's reigns were pretty trivial. So he had his place. Sucks. Yep.
Anyone else want to tag in on this one?
I don't really know too much about him, but rest in peace.
Back in the day, it was a big deal to stay over in a territory for a long time. And Nick Bockwinkel was one of those guys of that old school era that was able to do that. He drew in a lot of money. AWA was one of the biggest territories out there. And there was a lot of people that speculated if it wasn't WWE, AWA may have been the one to have taken everything national and gotten big. And Nick Bockwinkel would have been a big star with that. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Nick Bockwinkel played a big part in getting Hogan over during that part.
Mm-hmm. That whole Hogan switching over thing is the whole reason WWF got as big as it was. If we had stayed with AWA, we could be watching fucking AWA Raw.
Well,
yeah, well, whatever.
How bad is that? Just write it down on a piece of paper. AWA RAW.
Yeah, that
does. at least Nick Bockwinkel would have got a fucking bigger segment on it.
That's true. Drew, I mean, if Bockwinkel is well before my time, he's well before your time, but do you have any thoughts when it comes to his career or anything? That little, huh?
Oh, wait, my bad. I accidentally had my mic muted, but no, what I was saying was, rest in peace, just the usual whenever someone unfortunately passes away, even though it was of old age, unfortunately. Lived a good life, He was a champion at one point. He did good things for the AWA and the NWA and the association he was a part of. So R.I.P.
Yeah, condolences to his friends and family and all those going forward. Let's get into the 3 other ones that I've got here. Billy Gunn was released by WWE. He failed a test. He was doing a weightlifting competition, and WWE doesn't normally test their trainers and stuff, but because they caught wind that he had failed a performance enhancement test there, they figured they might as well release him. Yeah, he's following the opposite of what the rules are, and he's supposed to be somebody who's making a good impression for the youth going forward and stuff. You got to make an example out of him. It sucks that Billy Gunn's gone, but hey, he did it for himself, right? What do you guys think? Is this Billy Gunn loss going to be a real big detriment to the developmental system? Are you hoping for anybody in particular to replace him? What do you think about him being released for this, despite not actually being somebody who failed a wellness policy test in WWE itself?
Well, I think Billy Gunn will ultimately go down as the perfect example of a guy of having all the tools and just not being able to make it. And for his career there to end this way, I think is rather appropriate for everyone just to learn the ultimate lesson of don't do what Billy Gunn does.
Don't Billy Gunn your career.
Yeah. Whenever you find yourself stuck in an awkward situation you don't know what to do, just think, what would Billy Gunn do? And then do the opposite.
Do the exact opposite. Pretty much. You say who would take his spot. I don't know necessarily, but there's tons of people out there, tons of legends who could fill his role, maybe even better. So I don't think he was a big enough person where they will be affected of his loss. Because, at the end of the day, you'll find someone to replace him. Almost anyone in the wrestling industry could probably do what he was doing. It's unfortunate that he had to go, but listen, we live in an era where if you take steroids, people go down hard on those who do it. The idea of enhancing the body in some ways is not looked upon greatly nowadays. It's unfortunate for him, but if Kevin Owens has to be fat and has to live with that forever, this guy shouldn't be taking drugs just for the sake of taking drugs. So fuck that guy. Seriously. R.I.P.
It's
Billy
unfair
Gunn.
to say that anybody can do what Billy Gunn was doing because at the end of the day, he's had decades of experience in some of the biggest companies. I don't think I don't think it's a hole that can't be filled. I'm sure there is other guys for it, but that's kind of a bit harsh to say. It sucks that he got fired, but the rules don't break him, dumbass.
I think one thing should be said though, especially for a guy like Billy Gunn who had been around there for so long, and a guy who has ties with Triple H. So I'm surprised he didn't come to his aid more in this. They could have done their own test on him.
Like,
Yeah,
just
I
to
think
double
he was.
check.
I think he deserved a test because you don't know. Like, and technically, he could fucking take that to court if he doesn't believe it was just.
And they're setting a precedent on this now.
Maybe they did give him a test.
Maybe. But I
mean,
think it's
I
fair.
would think that would make sense for them to go, wait a minute, you failed for that? Let's give you a test right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And guess what? Like, there are situations where people test bad and it's because the test was fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it just turns out that he was clean. I doubt it, but
Maybe they had shitty doctors at this place and they swapped fucking piss with somebody by mistake. Like,
Yeah.
like he deserves a chance to like prove his innocence. But personally, I don't give a fuck if a guy takes his steroids or not. I've always been of the mind that it's up to you what you put in your body and you face the consequences for it. So I think it kind of sucks when anyone gets fired for this type of thing, but at the end of the day, private company. Well, no, it isn't. It was.
Well, there's a few things I like to think about. I mean, when we're talking about steroids and professional wrestling, at the end of the day, it's all scripted. The only thing it really does, it just makes you look better. Steroids took a big precedent in like the MLB, for example. It affected stats in a certain way, and a lot of people have taken steroids in wrestling, and we really can't say whether or not that person would be there with or without those steroids taken. So you never know. And yeah.
I think
I'm
it
not
is.
advocating for anybody to take steroids. I'm just saying I don't give a fuck if you do.
Yeah, I think it definitely is a loss for the company. It sucks that he tested positive for drugs, but there are worse tests to fail. Just ask Charlie Sheen.
So nobody has any like preference of who they think would be a good replacement?
Billy Gunn.
Yeah, badass Billy Gunn comes in this time.
the one Billy Gunn.
How about
Yes, man.
Well, he does have it all.
Actually, who'd be a very proper fill-in for him? Dolph Ziggler.
Anyway, out of the New Age Outlaws, they kept the good one.
You know what's unfortunate? I always realize, something looking back at history as, he held the Hardcore Championship when Road Dogg held the Intercontinental Championship, right?
Sure.
Sure.
Was that like the same time or something like that?
It might have been. It sounds familiar.
I know you're the one on Wikipedia. You tell us.
I'm not the one on Wikipedia. I just remember
sorry,
that because
Wagopedia.
I watched a documentary and that popped up. But, it's just weird thinking that Road Dogg got the Intercontinental Championship over Billy Gunn. But hey, Billy Gunn was left to his own vices, and, he has to face the consequences for it. You take risks, and sometimes risks pay off, and sometimes they get you fired. So you'll find work elsewhere, but, he's always going to be that guy that, what could have been, pretty much.
Sweet Kit
and all
Drake
the
in
tools.
TNA again.
Would you guys be cool with X-Pac replacing him?
That'll be cool until the next time he does.
Until he shits in someone's
heroin.
bag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know-
learn him something real quick.
Oh, fuck.
I would say
he's the last guy you want to talk to these fucking kids. He'll fucking corrupt them. That's a terrible
Is,
choice.
with Billy
That's
Gunn, was he
like
just
the
a
worst
trainer,
choice.
or was he like a head of a specific department for them?
What's who? Billy?
Yeah.
He's the head of crotch chops.
I think he was not even really like one of the master trainers, but I think he was one of like the more primary ones.
Yeah, they can just get shook.
Because
I guarantee
Regal is a part of NXT. I mean, he's like one of the full-on managers, and
He's the talent scout.
yeah, and the head trainer I think is Justin Albert.
Still? Oh, yeah. So,
But you
like I
got
said,
you got Billy Gunn, you got Norman Smiley, you've got
Sarah Del Rey.
Sarah Del Rey, you've got
Robbie Brookside.
Sarita Stock.
Who the fuck's Arita Stock?
yeah, I never heard that name, but
I never heard that.
Sarah,
either.
Sarah Stock, Sarita from TNA.
yeah, see, but more of a reason why I never heard of her. But
Ooh, maybe this is the spot that they were trying to get Eugene back from.
Oh God.
Oh, before he fucked up.
You know what? That's the perfect fill-in, Eugene. You know, I think he kept his character in shape, so I'm gonna go with him.
I don't care anymore.
I do. I love Eugene. He has like the best theme song ever. It fitted him perfectly.
This is going to be a transition for them. They're going to go, all right, kids, you see what Billy Gunn did? That was really retarded of him to do that. Now, Eugene...
You want to see it retarded?
He is
Look
retarded.
at this guy.
Let's move on to another topic here. They are going to be trying ringside seats with a virtual reality set, the Milk VR Samsung set. WWE 360 is what it's going to be called, and you'll be able to purchase this and see what it's like ringside without having to be anywhere near the arena. Very odd, but something that, the next stage in technology, I think it's kind of cool. I don't think I would ever pay for it, but I like the idea that it's out there, Anybody think that they would grab it?
I like
the idea. Negatives to it.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. I most likely will never get ringside to any major event anytime soon unless I win a contest to get them. So, I don't know how much it is necessarily, but I might try it out once just to see what it's like. Just see what it's like. It won't be the same as actually being there, but.
But I mean, it could be a really cool thing.
An interesting concept.
It could be a really cool thing for people that are in a wheelchair, where it's just it's too damn hard to get them to go to the arena and to sit there the whole time and stuff. You get them that, give them that little bit of an experience.
Woo! Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
The
technology, exactly. No, go ahead, Wego.
With our new technology, you can feel what it felt like to be in the arena at SummerSlam with the kid right next to you screaming, "Let's go, Cena!"
All right, I wasn't going to quite say that, but especially with video games, with virtual gaming and things like that, they've really come a long way in the last few years, and it just keeps getting better. So I'm interested to see this. I would love to try it myself. I don't know if I'll be able to get the chance, but I'm hoping it's not just some gimmick like they pick up for 6 months and then get tired of. I hope it's something that they actually put some time and money into it and develop it and make it sustainable and something that people are actually going to want to do.
Like Tout.
Hey, you remember that?
Tout was such a fail. Last hot tag that I have up here, it's a little bit wrestling related, I guess you could say, but stretching it to a certain extent. Taz gave his thoughts on the Ronda Rousey fight. And if you don't know by now, Ronda Rousey lost to Holly Holm.
What?
Yeah. Didn't expect that to happen. I've been really busy, and somebody was just kind of like, "Oh man, did you see how Ronda Rousey lost?" And I'm like, how she lost? Huh?
Yeah, I know. I got a text about that the same, when it happened. I didn't get to see the fight, but then I was like, what the fuck?
I was at CVS and picking up a prescription, and I saw what happened on my, just on Twitter, and then Peyton and Suego started talking about it. I get home, my stepdad's asleep, I woke him up, and I told him, "Hey, Ronda lost." He's like, "Fuck off." And they called bullshit, and then I had him turn on the TV. And look, Coachman's talking about it, so I was like, "Ha, sucks to be you, nerd."
So, I mean, obviously we don't do MMA stuff here, but this is big enough that we really should talk about it and stuff. But there's 3 different kind of things about this that I actually wanted to touch on. Number 1, now that Ronda's lost, do you think her stock has gone down any bit enough where she would have more leeway to go to WWE? Number 2, what do you think about Taz's comments where he says that he thinks that the fight was fixed, like pro wrestling? And totally forget what number 3 was, so I'm going to have to go back to that one. But when it comes to the first 2 things that I had just mentioned, what do you guys think? Should she come to WWE now? Is it going to be easier for her? And do you think that the fight was fixed?
I'll address the fixed one first. She had plastic surgery, dumbass. Wasn't fixed.
Yeah, Tony.
I'm not saying that I think it was fixed. I'm just
talking
about how
to Taz.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he hears me. I hope he's just going, "What the fuck was that?"
No, I'm being a dumbass for forgetting the 3rd thing. That's what I'm being a dumbass about.
Yeah, and for saying panel every fucking second.
That's what happened.
So I missed it. Was she saying that this was going to be her last fight regardless?
No, she said she's going to take a year off.
Okay, yeah, it was something like that.
She had fought back-to-back quite often, and She felt like she kind of had too much pressure on her from the media.
Gotcha.
Which she did. Which
is her own fault. I will say, if you're going to be a cocky
Ronda.
motherfucker, you better back it up. It's funny when you predict how your opponent's going to beat you, and then she does beat you with that same exact thing.
Well, you actually reminded me what the third thing was. It's if Ronda Rousey takes all this time off, how much do you think that's going to hurt UFC compared to how much Seth Rollins leaving has hurt WWE?
Well, I doubt Seth Rollins being away with his injury. I don't think it's affecting the company that much yet. They had to change stuff up, but at the end of the day, Seth Rollins really is not that big of a draw in the mainstream era. I mean, I did that one thing with Jon Stewart, but other than that, there's not much really there. So, there might be a few indie fans who might, claim that, oh no, I can't watch this, my favorite guy's not there, but, someone else will fill that void. So, I know Steven is a resident UFC MMA guy, so he'll probably go in depth about that side, but, yeah.
As far as Seth going, I have to agree with Drew, because he isn't that much of a draw, so I don't think it's going to hurt WWE all too much. Maybe from a storyline standpoint, because they're going to scramble together. As far as the UFC goes, I think the loss move in itself is going to hurt any draw power that Ronda has other than a rematch. As far as long-term, it hurting them, not really. Her being away, fighters typically only fight 1 or 2 times a year. Ronda was one of the few that did 3 now and again, but it was a rarity. So, yeah, she's probably going to be gone for 6 months because of the medical suspension, and probably another 6 months to get her shit together. So
get her shit together. They're like, all right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You guys are down when it comes to the medical suspension. Now, do you want to get back into it? And then somebody comes up and just goes, Ronda, you got to get your shit together.
So, yeah, I see her being gone for a year, and that won't matter. Conor McGregor, if he wins on Saturday, in December, he'll be fine. He'll be their next big star.
Peyton and Kalen, you guys haven't chimed in too much yet on this. Do you think any legitimate... wow, man, I'm all over the place. Do you think that the fight was fixed at all? Do you think that Ronda has a better or worse chance of coming into WWE now? And do you think that her loss is more for UFC or Rollins' loss is more?
I don't think it was fixed at all. I mean, I saw afterward, I did go back and watch it, and she wasn't fighting her best, but I don't think she took a fall purposely. I mean, I think that's just bullshit. As far as her coming into the WWE, I mean, I would love to see her there eventually. But I think it's still far too early to even speculate about that. What was the third point again?
Gavels and panels.
Not panels. What was it, Tony? Seth Rollins. Oh, yes, the comparison. I don't think that you can even compare it because I'm admittedly not a huge MMA fan. I don't really know much about it.
Fucking asshole.
I know, right? But Ronda Rousey is one of those names that everybody knows, it transcends the genre. So I don't think Rollins is quite up to that standard. He was the champion for a long time, but it's not one of those names where if you go and, just talk to the average person on the street, you mention the name Seth Rollins, they're not necessarily going to know who that is. Ronda Rousey, they are more likely. So there's bigger names in the WWE. They're able to shuffle the players and cards around better, and I don't think it's as big of a deal or as big of a setback to WWE, rather. So I think the Ronda thing is definitely more gonna hurt that federation more.
Well, the reason they're not going to know Seth Rollins is because you're not saying Seth frickin' Rollins.
Seth motherfucking Rollins.
That wasn't it either.
I was going to say the same thing. Peyton, your thoughts?
I don't think it was fixed. This is fucking UFC, not baseball. I still don't think she's going to be able to come to WWE just because she's still tied under contract with UFC. She's going to be under Dana White's thumb, and I do think she's going to branch out. I think that she's getting away from MMA sooner than later anyway. She said she wanted to dominate in other places, maybe WWE, but I think her next place is Hollywood. after some time off. She needs some seclusion time right now. She's going to go into her little cave, and she's going to punch a bag a lot, and she's going to come back and try to punch the face of Holly Holm. And hopefully she can be able to do that and get her redemption story. As far as UFC, I mean, with my limited knowledge of UFC, I think they're going to be fine. I mean, this chick that beat her, Holly Holm, has potential to be a star just because she's the chick that knocked out Ronda Rousey. So we'll see how they can work that off that. They have that other chick,
Oh, that was just Jimmy Johnson.
Young Zaychik.
yeah, that.
The Undertaker?
Undertaker.
I don't know, like that's the weirdest fucking last name ever, but I guess she's getting a lot of steam. You got that cyborg chick. That's just the women's division. They got all their men stars too. I think they're gonna be fine.
Ready, guys? Those are the hot tags. Tell us what you think about all these topics in the comments below. I really need a rest hold after all the botches I keep doing on this episode, so we are going to see you in part 3 with rest hold. Follow along with everything else that happens in there, the comment of the week, the promotional stuff. We're going to continue on after that with the main event, so stay tuned. Part 3 coming your way. See you there.